Yo, guys, what's up, guys? So we're doing things slightly different here on the Hangouts, okay? Because we're not going to try and do this via this whole live stream shebang here. So hopefully you guys can be able to, yes, I know you can see me, guys. Yes, because I'm doing this via the live stream, but hopefully you can be able to see everyone. So just be able to hear everyone. So Hangouts is rolling through. This will be doing the new way because I felt like if doing the old way, I found it very hard to look at people, the chat group, and what people were saying. So I think doing this way, I'll be able to actually see exactly what people are saying. So the order of the day, we're going to talk about Pep, whether he's in fact the GOAT because he won the domestic treble. And we're going to talk about Bayern. We're going to talk about Robben and Ribery. And we're also going to talk also about the Syria heading to the final day. So let us start off first with, oh my gosh, he had to manage us how to be here, didn't he? So based on Pep getting City to be the first English side to win all three trophies, where does it now place him amongst the pantheon of great managers? Mane, kick things up and Andrew, please.
I would still put Fergie. Fergie's number one because Fergie is the king of managing. Like the guy
100%.
can make any team into a viable team. He works with what he gets, and he doesn't even need big names really. He just needs players who can work with each other. And somehow he has like this magic thing that he does, incredible. So I can't put him over Fergie just because of that. Pep has to have great players to do his very specific tactics. So I would say Fergie first and then Pep second because there's no other manager that comes close to Pep.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
there's no way you can say or Saki
Huh?
or Capello or any
Easy guys.
Zidane even
This
No,
guy's
no.
an
any
idiot. This guy's an idiot.
any 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 of those any of those Serie A merchants from the 1990s don't come close to Pep. So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's an idiot.
Okay. So you're saying that so you would put Pep above above your Pinecase and all those dudes, even though
well, Hugh Heynckes only won one treble, whereas Pep won six trophies in 1 year. But Hugh Heynckes, granted,
2 years.
he's a good manager, but people really overstate his accomplishment. He's not the only manager to have won a treble. I mean, Lucho Enrique won a treble. Nobody bangs on about it year in, year out. Oh, Hugh Heynckes, incredible manager, all that. He's great. He's a great manager.
Oh
Congratulations
my.
to him for beating Barcelona 7-0. But it's not the only person to win a treble. So I don't see why he's lifted up like he's some genius where other managers have won trebles and nobody cares. So don't overstate Hugh Heynckes. He's great, but he's not anywhere near Pep. No,
you're saying that Pep now goes to number two of all time.
he was number two before that. Anyways, I don't see when you look at the trophies won in a short amount of time, nobody comes close. Nobody comes close. The third person you probably say is Mourinho is the third on the list.
My God.
But other than that, whichever Hazem is going to say, AC Milan fan, go back in the history books. I'm sure somebody won 20 trophies in 2 years in 1950 or whatever
Yeah,
years
you're
go
assuming in
back
your
to.
ignorance. Just assuming your
But
ignorance.
anyway,
Yeah, assuming your ignorance.
listen, there's no ignorance. It's just a matter of fact. You have to
Ignoring
be
history.
objective. You have to look at
Ignoring
the
history is
facts.
ignorance.
Okay,
Ignoring history is
just,
ignorance.
just round off your view. What you just put him as number two overall?
Yes.
Okay. Anish, Pep, does this so-called treble change your view and put him as the GOAT, or do you think it's still a Champions League flop with Man City and Bayern Munich?
No, I don't think he's the GOAT, and I can name like maybe like several managers who I think is better than him. And I think the main
Yep.
reason why he's not GOAT, I think like he doesn't even have to win like another Champions League, no, but at least like get to a final outside of Barcelona. That's pretty much it. But and secondly, the reason is because he has a very good plan A tactically. That possession game he plays, the ball circulation, ball possession, chance creation through like cutting edge passing. Like it's a very good plan A. The problem is that as a tactician, he doesn't have a plan B, plan C. You know what I mean? So when that plan A fails, like he's pretty much done after that. Um, as far as managers who I think are better than him, Heinkes, maybe Mourinho, Marcelo Lippi, maybe Alex Ferguson. Um, I'd say
Ancelotti.
Franz Beckenbauer absolutely is better than him. Let's see, maybe like I'd even go maybe Klopp also, because he's reached finals with multiple teams. So and he doesn't have the budget of
Klopp.
Yeah, man. Look, you can Klopp.
Why are you laughing?
Anish, excuse me, wait, Anish, wait.
I was with him until Klopp.
Did you just put Klopp as one of the greats of all time?
Well, I mean, you can compare him with Pep, yeah, man. Like, I mean, you can compare.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
You can't compare a loser to a winner, man.
You can but what if he wins the Champions League?
Oh, please.
I'm not saying he's.
Klopp is a great manager. I don't know why you guys are.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not saying. Okay, look. I'm not saying he's better at the moment because he's not won Champions League, dude. But like, I mean, if he wins, Champions League, then he can surpass Pep, dude. I mean, like, so. I mean, he's up there in the conversation with Guardiola. He's in the same caliber as him, definitely, dude. So, like, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much my take on it.
Okay, all right. They're here. Thoughts?
I think at the moment, obviously, as far as current managers go, I think Pep Guardiola is the best. The only two that would probably challenge that is Klopp and Pochettino, depending on who's the Champions League. As far as all time is concerned, I don't think we can say that Pep Guardiola is the greatest manager of all time. Football has existed for a very long time, but I would definitely put him somewhere between in the top 8 or top 10 because of what he's achieved. I mean, he's still very early into his managerial career. His philosophy, his style of play, his trophies. I mean, it's all very, very convincing. But you can't put him above the likes of Arrigo Sacchi, even Ancelotti. I don't rate Ancelotti that much these days, but overall, Carlo Ancelotti has a better resume. You have obviously Sir Alex Ferguson. You have Trapattoni. You have Bob Paisley. You have so many great managers from the past that really have achieved more in the game than Guardiola. But at the end of his career, maybe he will shoot up a lot higher, maybe in the top 3, top 4. But it's too early to say he's the best manager of all time, even though he's one of my favorites and he's currently the best manager in the world today.
Wait, so you're putting him above Uncle Mo at the moment, right now?
Yes, I have to. Yeah, only just. I think Mourinho's not far behind, in my opinion, but he at the moment, I have to say Guardiola.
Wow. Okay. All right. FG. Where did you rank?
Oh yeah,
Again?
Yeah, he's top 3, man. He's top 3 easily. I don't know why people are mentioning Mourinho. He's done. Sacchi done. Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti has only got 3 league titles. He wishes he could be Pep. And I think as far as I can say, I'm pretty sure he's probably the second best Premier League manager of all time. Only Ferguson's above him in Premier League. Like his dominance with Man City is unrecognizable. So yeah, top 3. And if he wins another Champions League, I think
top 3 is too high. Top 3 is too high.
Way too high.
It's too low. It's too low. That's what it is.
Too high.
If all he needs is one more Champions League one. If he wins a Champions League, he's number 1.
Okay, so let me ask.
He hasn't won one without Messi.
Is he 2 or is he 3?
Wait, what?
So you say he's top 3. I need a specific number. Is he number 3? Is he?
He's 3. Yeah, he's 3. He's 3.
So who are they?
Who's 2?
I'll say Fergie, then Lippy, then Pep. I'm only giving Lippy second because he's got a World Cup.
Lippy?
Yeah.
I can't believe
Deschamps won a World
I've heard.
Okay, no.
Nah. Deschamps doesn't have a Champions League.
It's cool. I think it's crazy, but that's cool. Mourinho is not in your top 3. I think.
Dude, he's gone, man.
All right, Haslam. Pep, where did you rank?
Man, these guys are. Oh my god! Look, as I said a few weeks ago, he was top 10 between 6, 7, and he's still there. Domestic treble doesn't really change it. Okay, FA Cup and Carabao Cup isn't gonna move you up the rankings among the greatest of all time. And look, the same thing. The greatest managers are obviously Ferguson has to be there, and then it's Michels, Rinus Michels. Who set up the whole he set up the whole legacy for total football, which Cruyff and Guardiola took from. So then you have obviously Sacchi, Heinkes, Ancelotti. Look at the,
Ancelotti.
you all.
Ancelotti is
man.
in there. I don't know why you guys are. Ancelotti's achieved a lot.
This is the thing
Keep
about
smoking.
Ancelotti. This is the thing about Ancelotti.
How many Champions Leagues does Ancelotti have? Isn't it 3?
Yeah,
He has three. He has three.
How many league titles does he have?
That's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. Ancelotti.
Exactly, FG.
No. Let me say about Ancelotti. Ancelotti, this guy in La Decima, when he won La Decima, he didn't only win it. He set the legacy for the 3 in a row. Zidane was under his wing. Zidane used his philosophy for the 3 in a row. Zidane
Not
used
really.
everything that Ancelotti taught, the balanced approach. Yes, 100%. Even the different tactical changes. So Ancelotti set up a huge legacy for Real Madrid, and adding to what he did at AC Milan, he has to be there.
Losing a 3-0 lead. That's what he did.
Oh, and then what did he do? What did he do?
Wait, so tell me. So where would you then put Pep specifically? Specifically, where would you put Pep?
I would put him Mourinho 6th, Pep 7th. No, sorry, Mourinho 6th, Pep 7th.
All right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Chill. Okay, Dushman, hit it.
All right, so Pep is not. I say Pep is not. He's 4th, but not the best. Like currently that I can think of. There's no way this guy is the best. And
even after a domestic treble.
I mean, domestic treble. Who cares? Like if FA and it doesn't have any weight. You can win. Like Laurent Blanc won like how many French leagues? Like no one cares. It doesn't have any weight. You can win FA. It doesn't mean anything. You're facing teams that are worse than you. That Premier League only represent. If Premier League, I mean, as much as people say Premier League is no bigger than Champions League because he has the most. He spent the most cash. He has like 2 teams in one. So take as far as based on resources, it doesn't have that much weight. Like people can go around saying domestic treble, this, that, but it still doesn't have the Champions League. So
But he won back to back.
who cares if he goes like 7, 8? People have gone down in other leagues. He has the most resources. We expect that. Considering how much he spends and how stacked his team's relative to others.
But
If he doesn't, then he's a failure.
Yeah.
But this is expected.
He didn't
This is
spend
expected.
anything. He didn't spend anything.
This is
last
expected.
summer.
So I'll say coaches that are better than Pep, Ferguson, of course, and then Heynckes too is better than Pep. And then
I wouldn't say so.
and then
I wouldn't say so.
No, he is like I mean, Pep couldn't do what Heynckes did with a better team. I mean,
What did
it's just
Heynckes
fact.
do?
Treble.
Win the
So
treble.
and then
Pep won
Pep's won more trophies though.
yeah, the league. Who cares? Because you have better players. Like you have to win. You have to have some European stuff. And what's it called? And as far as coaches, the other coach that I rate high, this is my opinion. I rate Conte higher than Pep.
No way.
No. This is my opinion. This is my opinion. He won with 13. He won the league with 13 players. I've never seen that.
Antonio Conte's never really got to.
And then wait. The other thing. Sorry, the last one. The other thing is Pochettino for me is better than Pep. I mean, he beat a team. You can't say Pochettino is not better than Pep this year, considering he eliminated Pep with less. Like he has no players and he eliminated Pep. Objectively, you cannot tell me
But he
Pochettino
has not won a trophy in his career yet. He's yet to win a trophy
but he
in his
beat him.
career.
He beat him. So he beat him in the biggest game. He beat him in the biggest game of his season.
It was luck.
No, but he beat him. Like this isn't even supposed to be a close game. But that's it. I rate Pep like 4th. Like among the best. But that's it. He's not the best.
So who are the 3 that you're putting above Pep? Then, if you're saying Pep is 4th,
I put like
Conte.
Ferguson is not even close, and then Heynckes. I respect Heynckes. Like
Don't say Conte, please.
No, and what's it called?
Pochettino.
No. With the time,
Mourinho has to be there.
No, Mourinho.
If you're not going to rank Pep,
No, I don't rate Mourinho.
Can I say one thing about
No,
Pep?
but that's it. The third one I couldn't think, but I still think Conte is better. I don't care what anyone says.
wow.
Can I say one thing about Pep?
Okay, quick.
Go.
Okay, for Pep to be in the top 5, he needs to win a Champions League without Messi. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wait, can Carlo Ancelotti win 2 league titles in a row? I mean, this dude.
Never.
was a flop.
Oh my god.
Never. Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay. So Jeffrey, Pep, where does it rank after winning?
Look, man. I'm not gonna say Pep is the GOAT as of yet, but by the end of his career, I'm 100% sure that Pep will be the GOAT. As of now, I'd say he's definitely the greatest of his generation. But yeah, like the other person said, Pep needs to win a Champions League without Messi. Like I love Pep more than anyone, but
Jeff,
yeah,
you're a bit too close to the mic. You better.
yeah. So for me, the big thing is Pep needs to win that UCL without Messi. That's the main problem I have with Pep right now. But he's definitely the greatest of his generation. Like, I don't want to hear anything about Mourinho or Ancelotti. Get the hell out of here. Pep is the greatest of his generation. But as of all time, I'm not going to put him ahead of Fergie just yet. But he's coming there. He's coming there.
Wait. Sorry, I have to interrupt. Sorry. How is Pep the best of his generation with that away record? He loses like every away game. How's this guy the best? And his Champions League record is awful. It is awful for a guy that's considered this high. He's so bad. And
okay, name me another manager that has won 14 trophies in the space of 4 years.
Who cares about little trophies?
But it's like tiny
cares,
trophies.
Who cares?
Like tiny trophies that.
Tiny trophies like Super Cups.
Yeah, like the Super Cup, Community
Win
Shield.
the big ones. Win the big ones.
The thing is that
Domestic
it's
treble,
really because it's
first ever to do it.
chill.
Guardiola.
Let me just respond to you. Let me just respond to that. My thing is about it is that it's a twofold kind of argument because at one side you can look at the amount of trophies, it's really amazing, and that is amazing. He won this trophy.
Yeah.
But it's in the fashion that he's won all these trophies.
I'm going to mute. Look, you're muted. I'm responding to you. Listen, or I'll just just chill. There's a twofold argument. On one side of the argument, I think it's strong because of how many trophies that he's been able to win. And look, trophies are trophies. But there's the other side of the argument, which is degree of difficulty. And the degree of difficulty are those biggest games. And of course, it's the Champions League. The Champions League is the elite competition. So what's really makes the managers truly elite and truly the best are winning the biggest possible trophies. And the reason why people would put Fergie at top because of Fergie's ridiculous longevity with one team and rebuilding many, many teams without having the crazy amount of funds that Pep has had. So
yeah,
and that's the thing. I mean, look at Bayern Munich. Kovac arguably had a horrible season and somehow still won the Bundesliga. Does that even those trophies that Pep win? Does it even mean anything? Like Kovac didn't even. He had a bad season and he still won it.
Okay, but like, before Pep arrived,
how is this even counted?
Winning back-to-back Bundesliga titles before Pep
Liverpool for everybody.
So, I mean, it wasn't such a one-horse title.
Jeff, man, relax. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not much that I can say that hasn't been said already, but I agree with most people. I mean, I think he's top 10. I think in the Premier League, that domestic treble to me is just it's not impressive. I get it; it's the first time it's happened, but
it's 3 trophies.
I don't care if it was 8. I mean, the people he's playing, the teams he's playing against. I mean, come on. But also the narrative. Yeah. Let me finish real quick, man. But the narrative about him spending money is a dead narrative because lots of teams have spent money. United has spent money, and you still got to mold that team right. So you got to give him credit on that. But he's not winning another Champions League, and so it's hard for me to say he's the best.
Wow. Whew. So original baseman, Pep, is he the GOAT? Yes or no?
For me, Ferguson's the greatest. Like, there's no way Pep comes close. There's this gulf of class. Ferguson continuously
he does come close though. He does come close. You can't say he doesn't. He's not close.
No, for like right now, but I feel like for right now, Ferguson's the greatest. But if Pep keeps winning major trophies and wins more UCLs, then I think he'll eclipse Ferguson.
He could.
What do you mean keep winning major trophies? What major trophies has he won?
I mean, like win the UCL. Win the UCL without Messi.
Okay. You didn't
win
the
UCL without Messi.
Cool.
Wait. Has Ferguson won a Champions League outside of United?
Wait. So
United are nowhere near that Barcelona team.
No.
Wait. Keep the same energy.
Come to me after.
What?
Where do you rate him? Top 3, top 5, top 10. Where do you rate Pep Guardiola?
I rate him top 3, just under Mourinho and Ferguson.
Wait, who on Ferguson?
Mourinho and Ferguson.
Hey, your boy.
You paid him, Double H. You paid him.
No, I genuinely feel.
All right, A1.
Give Pep that same team.
Okay, original base. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, exactly.
Domestic treble, Pep, does this make him the GOAT, yes or no?
I wouldn't say he's a GOAT, but he's one of the best ever to do it, man.
Yep.
He's one of the best ever to do it.
100%.
I personally feel he's better than Fergie because every time he's come up against Fergie, he's totally outplayed him.
Ferguson almost had a heart attack in the Champions League final.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah, that's not controversial at all, in my opinion.
Clenching his fist, shaking. He had Fergie shaking.
A1, let's just chill now. A1.
And what was the most dominant final? The 2011 one, Fergie versus Pep.
Yeah.
A1, please, just chill.
Oh.
Now, can you tell me again exactly? Did you just tell me that Pep has now overtaken Fergie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, head to head. Yeah, definitely. Because look, you can cool. You can talk about Pep had the money, this and that, but Fergie was spending loads of money as well during a time where.
Did Fergie ever spend as much as Pep did?
Oh, come on! You can't compare transfer prices in 2001 compared to 2015, 16. Like Fergie was spending money. He was buying what for Rio Ferdinand. He bought him for 30 million.
Yeah, he broke the record for the
he broke the record. You know what I'm saying? Fergie was spending money.
A1, do you realize that he managed to win league titles with Nicky Butt and Neville?
But wait, was Nicky Butt a starter?
He was still in the team and he was
No. He wasn't a starter.
Cool. Then Pep won the league with Fabian Delph at left back.
The league. Has he won the Champions League without Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi? He hasn't.
But Christian Taylor.
But you still have to coach that team. We can't undermine Pep's trophy.
He won the Champions League from considered Fergie.
This is what I want to just get very clear here, and I don't want to get. I'm trying to have as balanced a debate about it as possible. But the one thing I'm going to get clear here, I am not being a Pep hater here. Well, we're just trying to be as honest as fully possible. 100%. Let me just be clear. Pep is a bloody amazing coach, and say whatever you will.
One of the best, yeah.
Is amazing. Like, basically, what can't be argued is he's one of the best. That can't be argued. So that's not even a debate. He's one of the best coaches of all time. But the argument we're not having is people are already ready to put him as the greatest. As numero uno.
No, not ready for that yet.
You missed the super chat, by the way.
No. I'll see. I'll get it already. So, okay. So, everyone, just give me top 3, top 4. Give me a specific number where you will rate him at.
But I would say top 5.
Give me a specific number. 4, 5, 3, 2.
Oh, cool. Number 3. Okay.
All right. So let's just look at the super chat. So super chats from Arms19. Arms19, thank you for the super chat. He says Liverpool's Champions League, UEFA Super Cup, and Community Shield treble will be a harder treble than Pep's FA Cup and the Mickey Mouse treble. Degree.
Yes. But only if we win. Only if we
win. Be harder, man.
Okay, so first of all, let's break it down. Let's just break this down.
It's a Champions League we're talking about here.
Wait, let me break it down and I'll go to the final. Now, first of all,
Go.
Champions League, I'll give it to you 100%. Super Cup, Liverpool. Okay, let's just say I assume Liverpool win the Champions League, which I think they will. That Super Cup, they're going to face either Arsenal or Chelsea. I don't know how that is.
I just want to say one thing though. One Champions League trophy is more important than a domestic treble.
Oh, here we go. Not this 100%, man.
I mean, you're acting like you're gonna win it. You're acting like you're gonna win it. Tottenham's
we will win it, in my opinion. We will win it.
Okay, so look. Sorry, I'm going to start music because, guys, remember, if we start talking at the same time, nobody will hear anyone. So just try and and I'll give you the floor. Don't worry, everybody will have a chance to talk. Champions League, 100%, I'll give you that. That is the hardest competition to win. So I don't care what Pep said in his post-match interview. Champions League is the toughest. UEFA Super Cup, if Liverpool win it, they're facing either Arsenal or Chelsea. I wouldn't really call that a tough game.
City faced Watford for a trophy in the final, man. Come on.
Let me land, man. Let me land. Let me land. The thing about the Community Shield is this. Yes, I suppose that it will be Liverpool against Manchester because Liverpool finished second. How seriously do guys take the Community Shield really? People are not sure whether is that a real trophy. It's
a terrible cup. It's a terrible.
Yeah. I wouldn't rate it highly.
It's called Shield.
But why is it when Mourinho won it, it wasn't counted?
It's a shield, not a cup.
He tried to count it.
Okay. Yeah, so why?
Wait, guys. Okay, very quickly down the room. Simple question here. Very quickly. So, Is Liverpool's one Champions League? Let's just say Liverpool. Let's say is Liverpool would one Champions League be more valuable than City's domestic treble? Mane. Let me guess what Mane is.
Mane. Tottenham's one Champions League won't be as valuable as Man City's 3 trophies. No.
Why not? Why not? Because it is the elite competition. Why not?
Well, Champions League is 8 games compared to a 38-game season. Obviously, which one is more difficult to win? It's obviously the 38 games. In terms of endurance, which takes more to win.
You can't make a mistake in 8 games.
Listen.
This is such a weak debate.
I said this before, actually. When you think about it, the only reason Champions League is hard to win is because you have the league as well. If you could only focus on the Champions League, it's not that hard to win. It's only 8 games. So it's basically how you think about it.
So you're trying to say City would win it if there was no domestic games?
No league. Oh, God,
no shit, we would win it. It's only 8 games. We've won over 38 games. We've won over 38 games. You think we're not going to win over 8 games?
All right.
Okay, cool. Okay, A1. Which is worth more, a Champions League or the domestic?
Like I said, it depends on the team. It depends on the team. It depends on what your goal is for the team.
Okay, every club's goal is the Champions League. I mean, let's
cool.
No matter who you are, the Champions League.
Yeah.
But because right now, I'm telling you, Liverpool would be way more happy if they won the league compared to Champions League.
Liverpool
That's a fact.
Nah, 6 times.
They
could say it's the same.
No, I'm telling you.
The Champions League is more valuable.
I've heard Liverpool fans say they'd rather win the Premier League than the Champions League.
Yeah.
From some Liverpool.
No, but now that that's not possible, we've got to focus on the Champions League.
Give me another example. Outside of Liverpool, which other team would be happy with the league title or Champions League?
No one.
It's the same. You'd be equally happy with one or the other.
Like I said,
because we haven't won it.
Okay, wait. Let's hear from others. Okay, Anish, which is more valuable, a Champions League or
for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, man, I mean the answer is obvious. It is the Champions League.
It's so obvious.
We had this discussion last time.
Yeah.
No. And first of all, okay, fine, you can say 38 games or whatever, but the thing is that those 38 games also give you a much bigger margin of error.
Yep.
They give you a much more room for mistakes in a league title. See, man, City lost they lost 2 games in a row, 3 games in 4 or something like that, and they still managed to come back and win the league. You think you can make those kind of mistakes and win Champions League? No way, man.
Yes, you can in the group stages. In the group stages, you can.
In the group stages, sure, man. But Laporte, 2 mistakes against Tottenham, 2 away goals. Okay, so margin of error is so small. These games are won on the tiniest moments.
Yep.
The smallest moments make the biggest difference. And you know what? Okay, so yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, let me just switch things up a bit slightly just for the other people, because again, I listened to Pep's post-match after the whole FA Cup thing, and he said, basically reflecting on, he said this is one of the best seasons he's ever had as a manager and so forth. And he said, this is to quote him, I love the Champions League, but I feel that what we've achieved this season has been a lot harder to achieve than the Champions League.
Bullshit.
No, but
He's obviously going to say that because he can't win the Champions League with Man City.
Can I finish my point?
So because I think it is true what everyone said. We did sort of have the similar question before, but specifically this, which is harder to do? Winning the Champions League or winning all 3 domestic trophies, which has never been done before. Man City did
the Champions League.
Doesn't PSG do this every year? They won it last year, the year before that.
And did they win the Premier League, FG? When did PSG win the Premier League?
I just want to mention.
Can I finish my point though?
Oh, okay, wait. Okay, so Anish, finish your point and then I'll go to that.
Yeah. So Mane, I mean, I'm just telling you this. I mean, you said if Man City didn't have the league, then they could focus on Champions League and win, right? But the thing is that they didn't have to focus on the league. Just like Tottenham, they had the opportunity to let the league go and focus on Champions League. I mean, you don't have to win. You can prioritize, man. So it's Pep's fault for trying to do too much, and again, he messed up in Champions League by playing a shit away lineup, and they lost that game.
Okay. So wait, before I go to that here, our good old friend Machine has given us a super chat. So let's see what it says. So he says the league is greater than the Champions League. Monkeys are just veiled, messy fanboys trying to big up their boy because he can't cut it in the big time. Champions League is objectively a much more important and difficult trophy than any league.
Facts.
Preach.
Okay, so try and embellish it. So give us a good reason as to why you think a Champions League is harder to win than 3 trophies, 3 domestic trophies.
I mean, yeah, we've had this discussion before last week, and I would obviously go with the Champions League because the best teams play in the Champions League. Also, I want to say in the FA Cup,
3 trophies.
No, the Champions League is harder to win and it's more valuable. It's the we've already spoken about this. It's the best club competition in the world. Also, Man City's FA Cup run is the easiest in the history of the competition. They played Rotherham, they played Swansea, they played Newport. I mean, who did they play? I mean, it was the easiest run ever. I mean,
you can only play what's in front of you, man.
Exactly.
No, I'm just mentioning it. I'm mentioning.
You're saying easy run, but they would have beat
they deserve credit
anyway.
I'm not taking anything away from Man City. I'm just mentioning the fact that they've had such an easy run in one of those 3 trophies. Anyway, so the Champions League for me, it's a no-brainer. Anything else is incorrect.
Okay, so before I go to FG, Promo with the super chat, he says that people forget Messi only won 1 Champions League without Pep. And the one that he won was with what I call a cheat team, which was the 2015 team.
No, but he's still the greatest player of all time. So
No.
Hey,
That's a different debate.
Don't go down that road.
He picked the mic, man. That's all I gotta say.
For a man. Okay, so FG, which is harder to win? Which is harder to win?
It's Champions League, man. It's so obvious. And the people who say the Premier League, at least how you play 38 games. First of all, 30 of those 38 games you play shit teams. That's just the straight fact. You play 30 shit teams and 8 decent teams. And the Champions League, I would say, not only it's the hardest competition in club football, it's even harder to win than the World Cup. That's how much prestige it has. It's bigger than the World Cup. That's how hard this is. Because I'm telling
it's second at least. Second.
Winning a 2-legged game is harder than a single game in the World Cup in the knockout season.
Is it?
No. Yes. 180
This guy.
This guy, man, he wants to do it.
All right. Okay. And Hazard, which is harder, Champions League or 3 domestic trophies?
No, it's definitely Champions League. Even look, it's simple. I said this the last time we brought this up. In the Champions League, you're playing the best from each league around Europe. You're playing the best all the time. In the league, it's basically who can beat the smallest teams the most, pretty much. And look, most of the time, when the big teams in the league go head to head, it doesn't even matter. Like Sarri beat Guardiola, and it doesn't make a difference. It's about who can beat the smaller team the most. In the Champions League, it's all risk, high risk, and it's not 8 games. I don't know where Mane got that. It's it's way more. The 6 in the group stage, and I don't know. I didn't count it, but it's more than
way more than the league.
No, I said way more than you said.
Well, anyway, you play tougher teams in the Champions League.
Yeah, so you're playing the top of the top. You're playing the hardest. You're playing over 2 legs, so it's accurate representation of who's better. You have 180 minutes with 2 top teams to see who's going to go through. And you're playing it's the most elite competition. The best from each league comes. You're the best in Europe, and that's better than being the best of your own country. Simple.
All right, Gigiman, which is harder, 3 trophies or CL?
CL. I would take CL. I think Champions League is the biggest football competition, bigger than the World Cup.
Facts.
No. Still, I still like teams like in the World Cup. This is like a social event now. It's not even a competition. Yeah, but I saw teams couldn't even defend corners. But that's apart from but with the Champions League is 10 times bigger than the league. I mean, what's it called? Legit, I stopped watching the league because the majority of leagues are too predictable and there's no point of watching it. And with the Champions League, and with the league, the other thing with the league is I can have the most stacked team, and if I have a good system and a team that what's it called? That is, I have 2 teams in one. I can beat inferior teams. Like I'm expected because I have better players. But with the Champions League, it's equal because everyone puts their best lineup and it's head to head. Whoever wins out of it is the better team. So Champions League way better. When Liverpool win the Champions League in two weeks, then I think they're accomplishment because they'll be the biggest club in Europe. So they're bigger than any club. And
Tottenham win.
No, wait. And what's it called?
Tottenham will lose.
Yeah, but I mean, Tottenham will be lucky to even be in the game. And but what's it called? But if they win, it's bigger, and they're the best team in Europe. And I think that's big. No, I'm 100% sure that's bigger than APL, where apart from the top 6, the rest of the league, I don't know. I don't know.
Teams,
yeah.
So before I go to what's it called? Anthony Mackin with the super chat. He says, "Let us not forget, Leicester won the league 3 years ago. Champions League is big boy football. No other can come close to saying the league is harder."
Yep.
That's true, bro. A bunch of foxes did win the flipping league. So how?
Which is incredible. It's the greatest accomplishment in
that's
football
embarrassing,
history.
man. They won it
In
by 11
football
points.
history, it's the greatest conquest in football history.
Embarrassing yourself.
Everybody, which is harder to win, 3 trophies or the females?
Yeah, not much to say on this as Champions League. I'd rather my team be called the best team in Europe than the best team in England or the best team in Italy or Egypt or whatever.
Original. Are you going to agree again? Champions League harder to win than 3 trophies?
Yeah, Champions League is harder to win. You're facing the best teams on the planet and some of the best managers across the country. So why would you not want to win the Champions League? It's like the epitome of football, other than the World Cup. Like you play in. Who doesn't want to play against Messi or Ronaldo? Who wouldn't want to play against Messi or Ronaldo on the biggest stage?
So basically, the only people who don't really fully agree is obviously Mane and A1 sort of. But in my view, look.
Oh, I never disagreed. All I said was, it depends on the team, but obviously Champions League.
I agree with Mourinho and Pep. So 3 of us against all of you.
What a surprise!
Okay, so let me put this out there. So Ribery and Robben, they played their last games for Bayern Munich. And they were able to, get the season there, but they were not able to do it.
It's the left foot. Jeez.
If we now look at Ribery, where would you say his legacy stands based on what he did for Bayern Munich? As far as wingers go,
one of the best of all time.
He really, among people of his generation and wingers of his generation, the entirety of what he did in his Bayern career. Mane, where would Ribery rate for you?
I would say he's probably their best player in the past 20 years, and probably Bayern's best winger ever, because he's been really the key for their success. Even the treble winning side, everything flowed through Ribery. He was like, everybody else was a supporting cast, but Ribery was the one that made things happen. When you look at Thomas Muller's goal against Barcelona, that header, a crucial header, Ribery was beginning with it. Robben's goal in the final against Dortmund, Ribery was behind it. So Ribery, I think he needs more respect than people give him. Like the Ballon d'Or 2014 when Ronaldo won, that was Ribery's Ballon d'Or.
Even Mandzukic's goal in the final was from Ribery.
That was amazing.
Exactly. So I mean, this guy, for me, he plays kind of like Figo. He really reminds me of Figo. He has the same. He's a winger. Excellent dribbler, and he creates space. He's like a playmaker that is like a number 10 who's a winger, if that makes sense. He creates space and makes plays for his teammates.
I agree with that.
Okay.
And then he's just fantastic at that. But I would say he's much better than Robben, but
what?
I don't have to hate on him. But
Not really, but
before you disrespected the vote. So I'm going to respond to that.
His name is Egg Boy W.
Okay, so let me just look at these super chats. So from Ogopo, thank you for the super chat. He says Pep has never won a league title with a team like Dortmund. Until he proves it, he will always be a goal.
Bro, does he not know Dortmund are a small club? Why would a big manager play for a small club?
He's above Dortmund, man.
Guys, chill. Let me read this.
His left leg is bigger than that club.
So another one from Machine says, this season I saw 2 men accomplish impossible feats. One single-handedly overturned a 2-0 deficit against Atletico Madrid, while the other oversaw a 4-0 choke job versus a B-side Liverpool from a 3-0.
So what about the guy that lost against kids? What about the guy that lost against kids?
He lost in both legs. You can't use that argument.
Let's be from Ahmed A. The Carabao crap makes FA irrelevant. I got your Discord. Okay. All right, so yeah, he just said the Carabao Cup is basically useless. All right, let's give us this now. And thank you guys for the super chats. A1, Ribery, where does he rank?
I think definitely one of the greatest by wingers ever. Because yeah, definitely, and also in the Bundesliga as well. Despite him having his injuries as well, going through injury problems, whatnot, he still managed to do his thing there. So he's one of the greatest.
Okay, Anish, Ribery.
Yeah, man. As former, as a right back, one of the hardest things to do is to defend two-footed wingers.
Yes.
And yep. And before Ousmane Dembele was doing it, before Neymar was doing it, this was Ribery's a trademark skill, bro. So I mean I was following him since 2006 because 2006 World Cup was my first football tournament to watch, man. And he was just excellent, and he sort of peaked late in life. 30 was his his best season. 2030.
Let's be real. How good was he really at that 2006 World Cup?
No, I mean he wasn't great. Like I said, he peaked later in life. He peaked at 30. So when in 2013. So and I mean you saw how amazing a two-footed winger can be. It's because the crosses he put in, the goals he scored, him cutting in, that whole thing of cutting in, from your weaker foot, that's so common today. That's he almost reinvented that, man. So I think he's amazing. I think definitely Mane was right. He's Bayern's best winger ever, probably. And yeah, man, that the treble, he played an amazing part in it. So yeah, man, I'd say he's definitely a great Bayern legend. So yeah, definitely, man, I rate him very highly.
Yeah. Here, what do you rate the boy Ribery?
Yeah, man. I mean, Frank Ribery for me is one of the greatest wingers of his generation. I mean, when you look back at Bayern Munich's treble season, I think there was no player more influential than Ribery. I think he got about 15 assists in the Bundesliga that season alone, which was amazing, to be fair. He's also, I mean, like Mane touched on earlier, he does have similarities with Figo. I mean, he's in a sense that he's such a classic winger. I mean, 1v1, I mean, he would almost certainly have the best out of his marker each and every time. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, I think. It's a shame that in the last few years that he's had obviously injuries here and there, which have sort of stagnated his career a little bit. But in his prime, I have to say he's right up there as one of the greatest wingers we've seen in each generation anyway. For Bayern Munich, I have to say he's probably their best foreign player of all time. I mean, Robben, if you have to consider that the fact that Robben joined sort of maybe a year later or two, but that's why I would put Ribery above him in terms of Bayern, specifically Bayern. But Ribery, for me, has achieved quite a lot in his career. I mean, in his prime, he was just phenomenal. He was unplayable. But right now, I think it's probably best to say that I wouldn't say he's the best winger I've ever seen, but he's easily in the top 3 or top 4.
All right.
Top 5.
Who?
All right.
Robben?
FG.
Robben or Ribery?
No, Ribery.
Okay.
Mane, shut up.
FG.
Oh yeah. I think I would say he's the Bayern's best and most important player, just specifically Bayern speaking. As for wingers, I think he's probably he is. He's more. I think he's the one who kickstarted their success. And for wingers' point of view, I would say he's top 5 in the last 15 years. Top 5. I wouldn't say top 3, but top 5 for sure.
Okay.
And one more thing, his retirement, I had no feelings whatsoever. This dude should have retired 5 years ago. As far as I'm concerned. It's literally, I mean, it's been time already. I was like, he's past his due date, man. That's what I'm saying.
Damn. Look, how older people, man? Are you crazy? Hazem, Ribery, what is your rank?
Yeah, man. First of all, since we're on the topic of Bayern, I want to congratulate Lewandowski for winning the league and the score.
Oh, easy, relax, man.
Man. Just let him
one day without an agenda.
Moving on to Ribery. Yeah, this guy is definitely top 5 wingers of all time. I would put him. The only people I would rate above him in
all time.
Yeah,
let him speak, man. Let him speak, FG, man.
This guy was one of the best, the main player in one of the best treble-winning sides ever in that.
Who's top 5? Who's top 5?
Okay, so the ones I would put ahead of him are Garrincha, Luis Figo, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, That's pretty much it.
What Messi?
Oh, okay. If you consider Messi a winger,
Messi's not a.
I wouldn't really
literally
consider him a
played
winger.
false nine his
He's a free roamer. So yeah, I would consider these guys above him, but he's definitely up there, and I would say top 5 greatest of all time. One of Bayern's best player. Obviously, maybe not as high as Gerd Muller and Oliver Kahn, but top 10 best Bayern players of all time.
Oliver Kahn.
Or yeah, man.
He doesn't know who he is. Don't worry, man. He doesn't know who he is.
And
I know who he is. Don't worry. Don't worry. It wouldn't be a shame not to know him. It wouldn't be a shame not to know him.
Man, shut up, man.
All right. Yeah, man. All I can say is you have to consider him a legend. That's it.
For sure. So, Jujman, Ribery, where do you rank him?
I think he's been Bayern's best player the last 10 years.
Just relax. Just respect him.
And what's it called? And if it wasn't for Blatter and his remark on calling Ronaldo a commander, this guy would have a Ballon d'Or. And what's it called? That 2013 season, Ribery was exceptional. I think he was the star player.
He deserved the Ballon d'Or, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And as for Robben, I'm nothing to say. I'm nothing to say.
Go, speak. Say something, man.
Okay. Focus on Ribery. Leave my go to Ribery.
Oh, no. Let's go, Robben. I think
Robben, come on.
He's coming next, I think, right?
Wait. Ribery, I think he did well. His technical ability, one of France's best players. It's unfortunate he like the rape case and everything that he couldn't play in the national team. But what's it called? As for Robben, I think he's like.
We're not talking about Robben.
All right. Ribery.
Robben is not part of this conversation.
Oh God.
Okay. Wait, I thought we were talking about Robben. I just want to
Ribery first. Ribery first.
I'm done with Ribery.
Liverpool, everybody. Ribery, where do you rank him all time? Liverpool, everybody, where do you rank him all time, baby? All right. Original base. Where do you rank Ribery all time?
I rank Ribery in the sense of wingers that I've watched. I think he's one of the best that I've seen.
I need specifics. Top 5, the very best.
I'm gonna say top 5, but personally, I'd put Robben ahead of him.
Ooh.
I'd put Robben ahead of him.
Yeah, me too.
Wait,
like that signature left foot that Robben, every time he hits that ball, it's going in.
Variety, bro, variety.
Wait. Fun fact: Robben has never finished top 3 in a Ballon d'Or podium.
Really?
Just throwing out there.
Original base. Thank you. Now, guys, let's just be calm. Now, I'm very tempted to make Robben 6 post.
Stop. Okay, let's end the segment.
Oh my God.
Can I land? It's okay. Let me land and I'll.
Huh? Just the Robben Horseman.
Not stop me. Let me just present the topic and you will respond.
Let me bring him all the time he bottled.
Cool.
I am very tempted to make Robben the 6th horseman because Robben is one of
no World Cup. There's no World Cup. How?
Robben,
anyway, 2 1v1 misses in a World Cup final.
Guys, can I please land? Robben, what's Robben? Robben changed for football unlike any other. Robben is.
Oh my God.
So, in this panel, can we just agree that Robben is one of the most unique, revolutionary players of all time? So, Mane.
Yes.
I think that's a yes from Mane, that Robben is one of the most revolutionary players of all time. That's a yes from you.
I mean, what do you already know what I'm gonna say, but let me say something I like about Robben. For Robben, I like he's a very dangerous winger. Like, I don't think there's any winger out there when he was playing that anybody that can, when he's playing, you almost have a fear when he has the ball. I'll give that to him. He's very unpredictable, very lethal in his game. But the other thing about Robben is, let's be honest, his whole game, he's the best pace merchant in history. Let's be honest. His skill, his attribute is because he's fast and has incredible agility. That's all it is. It's incredible speed, incredible agility. That's all his game is. Don't tell me he's a great dribbler. He isn't. He just breaks and accelerates faster than anybody else in the game. That's all it is.
Did you World Cup?
How is a pace merchant when he scores that signature goal? How is that signature goal correlating to a pace merchant?
Like I said, he's a pace merchant because basically all his dribbles, he kicks over the other person and runs past him. That's all it is. And okay, I'll give him the finishing. He's great at finishing when it comes to his spot.
Wait, is he great at finishing? He missed a 1v1 in the World Cup.
No. I'm saying he's great at finishing when there's no pressure and it doesn't mean anything. He's great at finishing. But I'm saying his main it was a pathetic finish. Listen. If that game was played in 1990, that wouldn't have went in. The pitch would have stopped that ball. It was such a slow, pathetic hit. Okay. So he's lucky he played in turf.
All right. Before we get to A1, I think we can talk about this maybe as a final because Machine says Van Dijk for Ballon d'Or. Maybe that's something.
Yes, it's too early for Ballon d'Or talk. But anyway,
for winning nothing, come on.
Man, chill. All right.
Okay.
A1, Robben.
Oh yeah. Like he's definitely one of the greatest, man. Because I would say he's the most predictable player because we all know he's got to cut in on his left foot, but we just don't know when.
So that makes him close. You're just saying.
Say again.
Okay.
The GOAT?
Yeah.
No, please. I'm definitely not the GOAT, man. But no, he's been a player that like I've really liked watching a lot as well. He's very dangerous as well. And
terrorized Arsenal
big games. He took all the time. No. That's not it. But anyway, yeah. He's just been a fantastic player, man. So, is he retiring or is he leaving Bayern?
He's never retired.
Doesn't matter, A1.
Doesn't matter.
I'm just asking. That's all. But yeah, man. He's had a good career at Bayern, and
great.
He's done a thing there.
Great career, not good.
Great, same thing, man.
Bloody
great, yeah.
Anish, Robben, is he? Yes or no?
Ooh, yeah, man. Obviously, definitely, man. I think Robben is like one of the most dangerous wingers like to ever play the game. Definitely, like this guy, like he made me fall in love with Dutch football, like in the 2014 World Cup, man. Did you see like what this guy was doing against Spain? Like
he's the one that made you fall in love with Dutch football. Him?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like, definitely. Like this guy was making a mockery out of like Xabi Alonso, like Xavi, Iniesta, all these people, man. Like he was just like going past them like nobody was there, bro. Like I mean, like this guy, like
you said fast.
You know what? I'm gonna meet you.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, this guy just blew past them like they were standing still, bro. And like, did you see that sprint against Ramos at the end of the game for the 5th goal? Wow, bro! Like this guy is like amazing, man. Like I mean, I think definitely like I don't think he's the only guy who does that like signature move, bro. I honestly think Messi was doing that before him. That was cutting in on the left foot and swinging. I mean,
not like Robben refined it and he perfected. Nobody does it like Robben.
Yeah, not like Robben.
I don't know, man. Like Messi's pretty good at it.
No, man.
No, not like Robben, bro.
Robben's only got 1 foot. That's it. 1 foot.
Fair enough, man. But like in terms of just running with the ball, like I mean, down the flank, I don't think anybody is like as good as this guy, man. Like I mean, he was definitely better than Messi in 2014 World Cup, man. Like I mean, he should have been given like player of the tournament, bro. So yeah, man, this guy's legend, man. I mean, like he was like, I mean, he's like nightmare for defenders, bro. With the speed, so much skill. Like I mean, oh my goodness, man. Like this guy is so good, bro. I mean, he's better than Neymar ever will be. I mean, let's be honest right now.
Yeah, no. Neymar is a loser.
No, my God.
Let's not start agendas, man. Let's not start agendas.
That loser better win America.
Guess what? He'll also be better than Hazard ever will be. Also.
That's facts.
That's a tough one for HH. He loves both.
Yeah, go on, say HH, say something. HH's gone silent.
They're here, Robben.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
They're here, Robben.
I mean, what is there to say about Robben that hasn't been said already? Yeah, for me, Robben is one of the greatest wingers of all time. I mean, he's also unique, like you said. I mean, everyone knows pretty much what he's going to do when he has the ball, except they can't stop him. I mean, For me, Robben has performed at club level. He's performed at international level. I mean, he's just an explosive player, a dangerous player. He's also able to perform when the pressure is high. I mean, obviously he didn't do well in the World Cup final back in 2010, but for me, Robben is a player that is, when he's at his best, he's virtually impossible to stop. I wouldn't say he's like a great or anything like that, but he's definitely one of the greats, similar to Ribery. As far as their Bayern Munich careers is concerned, I think I would edge it towards Ribery. But as far as their career is concerned, I would give Robben the edge purely because of what he's done for Holland. I also have like a few goals that stick to my mind when it comes to Arjen Robben. The goal he scored against Manchester United, that was for me maybe arguably his best goal of his career.
That volley.
The volley.
The
volley against Man United. That was just I think there's also another goal he scored against Fiorentina.
That was all Ribery.
Yeah.
Give him a great
No, but the technique is actually hard. Yeah, it's one of those goals where actually the technique, the guy that scores it has to take more credit. Actually, it was just a delightful goal. I think he scored another against Fiorentina. I mean, he's got like a highlight reel of so many like left-footed goals where he cuts inside and you can't stop him. For me, he's definitely one of the greatest.
Don't forget the goal when he's on his right foot.
Which one?
When he's on his right foot and he could tap it in with his right foot, but he ends up just cutting in and using.
Oh
his
yeah, for sure.
Who was that?
For sure.
That's one.
But the thing is, though, with Robben. Yeah, the thing with Robben is, though, I mean, he's already proved himself. I mean, as one of the greatest Dutch players of all time as well. I mean, he may not be the greatest Dutch player of all time, but he's certainly in the top 3 or top 4 in my opinion, anyway. And as far as Bayern is concerned, I think he's at least their second best player foreign wise. Sorry.
All right, FG. Robben.
First of all, let me get out the negatives. I mean, I think he might be the biggest bottler in football history. I just want to get that out of the way. Okay, now let's look at the positive. He's one of my favorite players when growing up. He was amazing, and then
Ronaldo came in.
Yeah. He was actually my favorite player once. Then Ronaldo. Then I said that for wingers, I think Robben's.
Wait. How do you go from Robben to Cristiano? Are you sick?
I made the right choice. That's all I gotta say.
Chose the winner. He chose the winner.
Yeah, I chose the winner, man. I would say I think Robben's the second greatest winger all time. I mean, the guy is just amazing. And like in Bayern case, Ribery is better, but overall, Robben triumphs Ribery in every sense. He did it Chelsea, Madrid, Bayern, internationally he's even superior.
PSV. Yep.
Yeah. So, I would say he's definitely the second best winger I've seen.
Okay. So let me just do the super chats, and this is going to be interesting. So this is from Ogopa. I believe he's a Liverpool fan. Plastic fans like Mane.
Yes. Expose him.
FIFA, FA, and the Premier League are still investigating. More punishments will follow.
Yeah, man.
How can I cry if I'm plastic? Come on.
This guy, man.
I tell you.
All right, Hazem, Robben. Where is Robben? Oh, Gopa, thank you for that. That was a great thing. Someone needs to put my man in his place, man. Hazem, thoughts on Robben?
Yeah, man. I mean, most of it's already been said. This guy is one of the best of all time. I mean, he's answering a question whether he was revolutionary. 100%, one of the most revolutionary of all time. I don't think I've seen a player create such a trademark like he did with that left foot. I mean, that left foot, Bayern needs to take a statue of that left foot and put it in their trophy cabinet.
Very true.
That's how valuable that foot is. That's how valuable that left foot is. I mean, look, man, he did bottle the World Cup final, but you know, it happens, man. It was unlucky. But I want to say just one thing, that his finish against Dortmund in the final, I think that's very underrated. Like the composure he had to just slot it in.
Wait, it's the opposite, man. No composure.
No. The composure he had to just slot it in calmly. Not many. I think 99% of players wouldn't do that finish. and the angle was tough. The keeper would have blocked. The players would attempt different stuff, but they wouldn't do that. And I think that was amazing and showed his composure. And you can't call him a bottler because he did that in the final, and that won them. So look, man, Robben, one of the best of all time. And, yes, one of the most revolutionary, if not the most revolutionary player of all time.
Okay.
Jeez.
Robben, please, preach. I only want to hear good things. I only want to hear.
Wait. Sorry. Wait. By the way, I have nothing good to say about Robben. So buckle up, guys. So.
Hendrix.
So, there you go. This
better be 5 minutes long.
Come on, let me see.
Let's go. First of all, unfortunately, only thing I can remember about Robben is he's a serial diver. Like, that's the one horrible thing I can remember about this guy. People say performance. He missed 2 1-on-1s in the final, as people have said. And as for the Champions League, he missed the penalty, the Allianz that no one mentioned in the extras. He missed that penalty to win Bayern the Champions League at home.
Oh, yeah.
He
redeemed himself, though.
No. The other thing about the 2013 final is what's it called?
He missed 2 1v1s.
He was fortunate that goal went in because he was composed.
He brought them to the final. If you remember, he performed against Barcelona in both legs.
That's a myth. By the way, Robben was not a starter until Toni Kroos was injured against Juventus in Turin. That's when Robben was a bench player, and then that's when he started. And another thing about Robben is the man. Can Robben score with his head? Because I haven't seen this guy ever score with his head. Also, he's so reliant on his left foot. Can he use his? He's very limited. He's like Maris because I've never seen the guy use his right foot to cross the ball. He's the only left. So that's another deficiency with this guy. And then the other thing is penalties. He's average. So I'm not sure about being a great finisher when you're average at penalties. And another thing I say,
Damn.
This guy hasn't touched the Ballon d'Or podium, top 3 ever. He hasn't touched top 3 ever. And has Robben even made the team of the year in his career in the Ballon d'Or?
Maybe once or twice.
He's dropping that heat.
How is he rated highly? I don't understand why people are amazed by this guy. Because according to the criteria we use to judge Messi and all these guys, this guy is like, there's nothing special here apart from the the dribbling. Seriously, objectively, I'm nothing to back this guy. There's nothing. He can't.
Juju, what position is he overall? What position is he overall all time, Juju?
As for all time, I don't even think he's top 10. He's not top 10 in his position because what's it called? He's not top 10 in his position. He's not top 10 in his position. No, it's not too much because.
What is he then?
You've got to name better players then in that case.
Okay, better players. For example, I mean,
right?
9.
Okay, 9 players. Okay, let's go with.
Name Robben in his position right now.
Okay, Ribery is better than Robben. We're not even discussing that.
Okay.
Cristiano is better. Messi is better. Messi is better. Thierry Henry was better. Was better than this guy. Was better. Raul was better. Ronaldinho was better than this guy.
These are strikers.
We're changing now criteria. Who's a striker? Which striker have I mentioned? Raul was a winger. He played on the left.
It's too many to name.
Neymar is better than this guy. I don't care what anyone says. Neymar has more attributes than this guy.
I might agree with that.
You guys can hate or anything. Neymar is better than Robben was.
I agree with you on that.
David Villa.
I could have thought.
David Villa was better.
Wait, guys. I think I'm being what's it called? I'm being kind because I said that like 20 players is better than.
Give us more.
Okay. Let's think. Hazard is. No, wait. I'm not sure. Hazard. No, wait. No Hazard. But to the point. Like, but to the point. No, but to the point. Like, I think there's a lot of, because objectively, if we put like criteria down, like Robben doesn't even tick most of those criteria. He's just good at one thing, which is giving him a career. But that's it. Like, we can't put him as a top player, like as the best. That's just like insulting.
Talk about how you ruined Lewandowski.
Have you finished? Tell me when you finished.
Yeah, plus.
Mention the Lewandowski thing.
Yeah, plus with I could have thrown like Robben is it's so selfish. People look at the upside of the shots where he cuts in, but the problem is he like there's some easy ones where he could just cross it to Lewandowski, but I mean the best player can use
you're clutching at straws if you think he's overrated.
No.
Let him talk. Let him talk. I mean, he barely had a minute. Come on.
No. But
because you've talked for ages. Round off now. I want you to
round off. Overall, I think Robben is. I mean, I'm being generous by saying is like it's 10. Like, but I don't think it's 10. He's really good at like end on a positive note. He's really good at like being selfish, diving. I think that's what's good at.
Yeah, it's a positive.
Yeah, but the left foot. I mean, if you take 1,000 shots, then I guess you can finish. But he's good at the left foot. So
I thought we were friends.
No, we are. Objectively. All right.
I thought we were good friends here. I thought we were really close friends here. And you know that this football hot is a service I give to you people on a platform. I ask to respect a guy who means a lot to me. So I take the personal insult.
No, easy.
I take it as a personal slap in the face that you spent 10 minutes.
Oh.
Easy.
Man, I will remember this in the future. Don't worry. All right. Everybody, please get to the positive spots.
Wow. Yeah, I think the best thing I can say about Robben is that he wasn't unpredictable like a lot of people said. In fact, he was very predictable. But the one thing you can say about him is that even though everybody in their mother knew what he was going to do, they couldn't stop it. Every sport has that one player. Steph Curry, if he couldn't shoot, he'd be another light-skinned guy in the NBA.
Ooh.
So, I mean, he had a thing that couldn't be stopped. And that's the best thing I can say about Robben.
Speed.
Thank you. Preach. Original base. Robben, please.
Just like Liverpool said, everyone said everything. That left foot, every time he hits it, boom, back in the net. Like, he's done it against Arsenal, he's done it against many teams over the years. And that one volley against United still gives me nightmares to this day. I don't know how he got that great connection to that.
Deontay Wilder.
Bomb squad. Okay, all right. Let me just show a few of these thingy. Oh, there's a right. So from CFC. Oh no. Okay, sorry. Let me go. So from Sad Dragoon, he says all Barca fans want Valverde sacked.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
the way people have disrespected Valverde, I think it's...
Oh my days.
Yeah, they have.
Nah, I think he deserves criticism. I think this time he deserves criticism.
Let me This dude could deliver a back-to-back double and still lose his game. So I just think that's personally weird. Safety Anu says Robben has a better left foot than Messi. That's how.
What? Okay. What? Okay, man.
Left foot specifically.
Better left foot than who?
Messi.
Than Messi?
Facts.
Okay, man. Okay.
I'm sorry. Chill. As well as that. So from Ash R says Setien left Real Betis today. Should he and will he join Barcelona?
No, he shouldn't.
No.
Also, thoughts on De Jong.
That would be an interesting move, though.
Setien, second half of the season was horrible. He lost to the worst teams. My goodness.
What about do you think De Jong and so do you think De Jong and De Ligt will be at Barca then? And how will
Easily.
It depends. It depends on if Liverpool come.
Yeah.
It really depends on if Liverpool come with a good money for De Ligt.
De Ligt could join Liverpool.
No. De Ligt is going to Barca. Even I think there was the latest news
Dude,
that
he's a Barca fan, man.
latest news that Raiola
Yeah,
I think agreed.
in this football world, just
We'll
being
have to see, but I think it's between Barcelona and Liverpool.
De Jong is confirmed. I know that De Jong is confirmed. I don't know about the others.
Nah, De Ligt is going to Barcelona for sure.
Pieck's got a 25 million release clause. So.
What's for that? What else from Ogopa? He says Jujuman deserves to be kicked out for that.
No.
Easy.
Nah. I would say Mane, yeah.
Ogopa. And also, now look, whoever sent this super chats, you have a very sick.
It's probably true.
Because I can't read out your name.
Oh, you're cool with the goat.
So, all I can say, Bleep the goat.
Oh, it's your cool.
And also, change gives me nice names. Please don't do that to me. I find that very wrong and good. This is just very quick fire before we are starting to round off. Syria goes into his last day next weekend. I believe Atlanta are in a very strong position and have pretty much completed that. It's not
true.
Inter and AC Milan. Inter are 1 point out of AC Milan going into the final day of the season. So very simple. Who qualifies for the Champions League? Inter Milan or AC Milan?
Wait, can both of them make it?
Yeah, they
No.
can.
They can both make it.
They can. Both of them can make it.
If Atalanta mess up, yeah.
It can, but it's very doubtful. Very, very doubtful. So Mane, Inter or AC, who could make the Champions League?
Yeah, AC Milan's not Champions League quality, so I think Inter's gonna make it.
Inter lost to Napoli 4-1.
Like, huh?
Yeah. You can lose to Napoli though, but yeah.
AC or
4-1.
I would say Inter.
Anish.
Yeah, man, I'd say Inter.
Yeah. They're here.
Yeah, I have to say Inter because the last game is against Empoli. They should win that game.
Should, but these guys have
Yeah.
Okay, they are perennial chokers. FG, Inter or AC?
I'm going for both. I think Atlanta will drop out.
Wow, okay.
No, I don't think so.
Possible.
Hazem, can your boys do it? Can they do it? Can they get back in the field?
Let me just explain one thing. Inter are playing Empoli, who are fighting for relegation, while we're playing Spal, who are already safe. Empoli, when they're fighting for relegation, they play insane. Literally, this weekend they beat Torino 4-1.
It's home or away?
Empoli is not San Siro.
Inter at home. They're gonna win it, man.
But I think Empoli can cause them a problem.
Wait. Who does Atlanta play?
Sassuolo.
Oh God! Is it away or home?
They're at home.
They can't play at home because their stadium's getting renovated.
Oh, right, yeah.
So
they are home. They're at home.
No. They're at home, but they're playing at Sassuolo Stadium because their stadium's renovated.
Going to make it? Yes or no?
Milan will make it in the last day. Inter will draw against the Empoli.
Okay. Jujuman, AC Man, will this be the return to do it? You sick man.
I saw I saw like the Napoli Inter Milan game, and like Inter Milan's defense is. I think Inter Milan should make it because They had a lot of chances in those games where like it was so close, but the Warriors they have their defense is bad, and I think I'm going with Inter Milan.
Yes.
No, they'll probably win though. To be fair, it's a winnable game. I know Empoli are playing well, but yeah.
Thanks, Juju.
No, because look, it's in Inter's hands. If they flop, then they have no one to blame. So I'm going with Inter. They should make it.
All right, Liverpool for everybody. Inter or AC, who makes it?
Well, I prefer to watch AC in the Champions League, so I'm gonna go just for that. I'm gonna go with Milan.
My boy.
Damn. All right. On original base, Inter or AC?
I'm gonna say AC. They're gonna do it.
Okay. So, guys, our final topic, man. Gareth Bale. Now,
Gareth.
Wait, what about Van Dijk? What about Van Dijk?
Next match for the final.
What's there to say about Van Dijk? After the final, when he lifts that Champions League, Spurs are gonna win it.
In fantasy, in a fantasy, yeah.
Okay.
If Spurs win that Champions League,
he's been here.
They won.
Zidane said that even if he was to have a substitute, he still wouldn't bring Gareth Bale on, which is pretty much the biggest diss.
No, that's a fake quote. It was a fake quote. He never said
Yeah,
that.
it was fake.
Yeah, it was fake.
Apparently,
It was
yeah.
fake.
I thought it was real actually, but
No, it's a fake quote, man.
But either way, Zidane does disrespect him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zidane wants him out.
Okay, so let's ask this. So where do you think Bale goes to someone? Does he stay at Real Madrid?
United.
Does he return to Tottenham? Does he go to PSG? What happens to Bale this summer?
Yeah, for Bale, he has to go back. When he goes back to Tottenham, the 2019 Champions League winners, when he goes back, it'll be a rifle. It'll be the final piece, and then maybe Tottenham can win the league next year because I don't see any other team that's capable. Tottenham would be perfect.
Easy.
He would fit. He would fit for
Tottenham winning the Premier League. Easy there.
That's
Easy there.
kill.
Easy.
It's not. They're gonna beat you in 2 weeks, and then they're gonna win the Premier League. That's what I said. But it'll be perfect for him because
I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Yeah, you thought you were gonna win the league. Anyway, it would be perfect for him because Tottenham need that big name, and Bale's perfect. He's not gonna be expensive, so they need a big name for that stadium. Yeah.
A1 Bale. What happened to Bale?
He's like in the same situation as Ozil, I would say, like where the manager clearly doesn't want him, but since the fact that he's getting paid a lot, he seems comfortable. I think he's gonna stay at Real Madrid. I don't see any other teams coming for him, especially with Tottenham as well, because it's like Tottenham, they've got Son and Lucas, who you could say that they not have a big name, but they can have a big impact if you get what I'm saying. Plus they've got Kane as well, and him going back to Tottenham, it'll be no point. There'll be no point at all. He's like 30 years old or 29, whatever, how old he is. He's getting kind of old. He's injury prone. He's going to cost a lot of wages as well. I think he's going to be at Real Madrid and he's going to be in players where he's going to chill there because I can't see another team coming for him.
All right, Anish.
Oh my god, man! A1, you just gave me like heart attack, man. Oh my, I can't imagine this guy staying at Madrid, man. Jesus Christ, man.
He's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah. Oh my god, man! This
to United.
He's getting paid.
Nah, dude, United
don't
want him anymore.
Maybe United.
We have to ship this guy. We have to ship this guy out, man. This guy is like eating massive wages and injured for like half this year, man. Half 3 quarters of the year, man. He has to go. Man.
You can't force him out. You can't force him out unless you pay.
Oh my God, he makes 17 million a year. 17 million.
If there's a will, there's a way, man. If there's a will, there's a way. We are getting him out of here, man. This guy's garbage, man. Oh my god.
He's Paris' favorite boy.
Okay.
Oh, man. I would have booed him also.
Okay, here. What happens to this one?
Yeah, I agree with what A1 said. I don't think he's going to leave Real Madrid. If you think about it, he has 3 years left on his contract, but his relationship with Zidane is just getting worse and worse to a point where I think he has to look for another club. But that's what I think he should do, but I don't think he will because Bale just seems like the type of player who wants to finish his contract at Real Madrid. I mean, maybe, who knows, maybe he's hoping that deep inside, maybe he's hoping that Real Madrid start the season poorly, Zidane gets sacked, maybe circumstances change and go in his favor. I'm not sure if he's thinking that, but I do think he's going to stay at Real Madrid because he still feels he can offer something. But I just want to touch on one thing as well. I just think he has been massively disrespected. He's one of those players. He's done a lot for this club, and sometimes I feel like the fans don't appreciate him. I mean, it just feels like they're hounding him out. I mean, yes, he does deserve criticism sometimes, but with this, you just feel like it just goes beyond criticism. I mean, they just hate his guts. And when you get that from the fan base, when you get that from your manager, then there's virtually no way back for you. So maybe he should think about a move.
All right, FG.
Yeah. There's a 0% chance this man leaves. He's staying for sure. I'll go as far as to say that I'll make a prediction. I guarantee you Zidane will leave if Bale stays. That's how much I'll. That's how much I'll.
You know what? I doubt it because Zidane just returned, but.
No, I'm telling you, man.
You can leave as well.
Zidane, the thing with Zidane is though, he just wants power. He just wants to be in charge of the transfers.
Zidane said yesterday, if I don't get what I want, I'll leave. I'm telling you, man. If Bale stays, I wouldn't be surprised if Zidane leaves.
All right,
maybe.
Juju man, Bale, what happens with him this summer?
I think Bill is going to leave because of. I think the Euros next week, so he cannot rot on the bench. He needs to get match time, game time. So I think he'll leave next summer. But with the team, he has to take a wage cut because his performance is no good.
Well, that's not happening.
Impossible.
No, he has to, or else he's not going to make the Euros. He's not going to make the Euros if he doesn't play.
Bro,
And
the Euros?
yeah,
Who's starting over him in Wales?
But he's not playing. He's not playing. Like you can't just put someone that hasn't touched the field.
Man. He will.
We have have anyone else, bro. Come on.
And for I think what's it called? Because Madrid will get rid of him. You cannot have a toxic environment in the dressing room. And
it's already toxic, man.
Yeah, but they have to get rid of that. You cannot have that and flourish. This is like it's bad for the just environment. So I think Bill will go. What's it called? Bill, I don't think he'll go to Tottenham. I guess Tottenham is the only place he can go. I don't see anywhere.
Man.
I don't see anywhere he goes.
It won't suit, man. And definitely with Pochettino in front, I don't think
But there's no one else, and Madrid have to get rid of him.
Dude, no club is paying 17 mil for him.
Bale, Ericsson swap. How about Bale, Ericsson swap? I think they would.
Where's Bale going to play?
Where's Bale going to play? Bale, what happens to Bale on original base?
I feel United will be dumb enough to go and get him.
I hope they do.
I really feel they'll be dumb enough to go and get him.
Yeah, I agree.
How like for a team that haven't also in the Champions League? Come on, bro.
Exactly. Bale's not going to go to the Europa League.
I know, but Woodward loves his Galacticos.
They'll pay him the money.
They will pay him the money. Look what they're paying Sanchez.
He's a Champions League player, man.
How is Sanchez getting 75k sitting on the bench?
No,
how?
Even if you offer the Bale like 3 billion, I don't think you go from a Champions League final playing in Europa.
He doesn't have an option. No one else will want.
He hasn't got an option.
No,
he's not staying at Madrid.
He has an option to stay. I would, dude. Just think of who wouldn't want to sit down on the bench and make 17 mil a year. I would easily do that.
Wait. I need to look at some super chats. So, whoa. Okay, so we've got it here. So first of all, Ash R says a preview to next year's Champions League. Who will be the biggest favorites? Who will have the best transfer season?
It's too early, man.
I'll give it to you. Barca and Barca. They have the most expensive squad already. They have the Jean. They're gonna get Delit. They're gonna get Delit. They're gonna get Griezmann. They're obviously favorites.
Oh my God! You're considering Griezmann is gonna be the same mistake as Coutinho spending.
Oh my God!
It doesn't matter.
Coutinho.
Bro, Barcelona board are the worst.
Please do not kick me out. Please do not kick me out. I beg you. Please.
Oh my God!
How did he get it?
As you play by the rules, I won't take you. Just play by the rules. Don't derail the chat, and then I'll probably keep you in it. So just chill.
Okay. All right.
So
I'll play my role.
It's not really saying that Real Madrid are going to be a force next season if they get over there already. So Real Madrid are not going to make it a force next season.
Bro, Hazard and Champions League don't go together, man. Only time Hazard and Champions League are in the same sentence is when Hazard doesn't perform in Champions League.
Bro, he has Chelsea. What can you do?
And because this is how I view it. Liverpool are going to be a strong force. Real Madrid. Barcelona, it depends what they do in the summer. Bayern Munich, I have no idea.
Don't sleep on Bayern.
PSG are a bunch of losers, so they won't have them in there. And if Pep doesn't win the Champions League with Man City next season, he's going to give up.
Wait. Any chance Pep comes to Juve?
Oh,
any chance?
You forgot a topic.
No, he said he's not leaving City.
You forgot a huge topic, bro. Allegri sacked. Who's going to be the next manager of Juventus?
It's Mourinho.
Yes, that's an interesting.
Mourinho is not.
I feel like Conte might come back.
Mourinho, bro.
Some other super chats. Let's just some other super chats. So, from Vincent Fahey says, Lion Tamer in quotes. Hope this helps.
Shout out, Vincent.
Okay.
Lion Tamer, we see you. Yeah, we see you.
From Esther Zach, sorry for the Yakubu. Keep up the good work. Okay. Please don't do that next time. Please don't, because that gives me.
Speak about Allegri.
So Arms19 says if Mane doesn't show up on the June 1st hangout after Liverpool win, is a bigger bottle than Spurs' history combined. And
Okay,
So
I have a wager. Okay,
Manny,
if
shush. This is being recorded. Manny, if you're a man of your word and you want respect on this Hangout, you must promise right now. If Liverpool win,
he won't show up.
Champions League, you must show up on the Hangout.
He won't show up.
Wait, shush, Manny, do we have your word?
I'll do one better. I'll show
Do we
up.
have your word? Yes or no?
Yes, but I have another one as well to add on, just for Dahir's confidence. Okay, Dahir, if Tottenham win, I choose your. You have a Man City AVI for 5 years on this chat. But if Liverpool win, I will have a Liverpool AVI for 5 years.
You know what? That's a deal. That's a deal.
Okay.
Don't make the mistake. Don't make the mistake. Don't make the mistake, bro.
No, it's not a mistake. We'll win. We'll win the final. It's not a mistake.
You predicted Juventus to win it. Remember?
So Manny,
nah, we'll win the game. We'll win the final, man.
Because look, Nora, don't disrespect to Tottenham. So Manny, I expect you to come up here June 1st in the evening after the game with Liverpool AVI. Do I have your word?
Yes, and Dahir should be here too when they lose with Man City AVI.
We'll see.
I'll be here for that Hangout.
I'll be here though. I'll be here for sure.
Okay. So another super chat from Star Dragoon. So Star Dragoon says, Mbappe after winning Player of the Year tonight. This is a quote from Mbappe. Now is maybe the time to take more responsibility.
Yeah, I just retweeted that.
Shush.
Thanks.
It could be at PSG or maybe elsewhere with a new project.
Come to Milan, baby. Come to Milan.
Points in my no, guys. We need to hear this so everybody can hear. Star Dragoon, thank you very much because I didn't know. So let's see this game. This is from Mbappe. Remember, I'm talking about Mbappe and Real Madrid. This is a quote from Mbappe.
Ooh.
Now is maybe the time to take more responsibility. It could be at PSG or maybe elsewhere with a new project. I am at a turning point in my career. Now, before I give this to the panel,
I just want to say one thing.
Wait, no, chill. You have to chill.
Lad.
Before I give this to the panel, Mbappe, if you're listening, because I know that you listen to the Hangout, this is not one with
Please.
I know you're listening. We are streaming through 1 million platforms.
Sup, Killian.
You think he's gonna watch a 2-hour hangout with 10 grown guys?
Let me land. The hell, Mbappe. It's where he joined Real.
Bonjour.
Just lost 2-0 to Real at the Bernabeu. The Bernabeu is not a laughing stock. This is your turning point. You just come up to your mouth. You cannot have your turning points at PSG for a bunch of losers. You must make that. Okay, before I give that to the panel. Wait, chill. Ogopa says Juju Man took Molly today, hence he lost his sense. So, Juju Man, please don't take drugs. That's what we're saying. Okay, so guys, do we think Mbappe makes the move this summer, or he stays up?
Dude, it's a contract. Look, I'll say this. First of all, when he said more responsibility, where was your responsibility against Man United when you missed like these 3-1 we won?
Yeah,
that's the first thing. That's the first thing. Second thing, look, this is easily a contract because I remember a couple of days ago I saw a report that says PSG wants to give him a new extension contract.
Yeah, he just raised the price.
So this is literally him. This is literally him making transfer rumors up so he can get a new contract.
Yep,
it's basically that. Exactly. He just wants a better contract, more money.
I think it's disrespectful from Mbappe because considering how he bottled the game against United, I mean, talking about other teams like you need challenge. I mean, I think that's just. It's not going to go well with the fans.
Not really.
No, I don't think it's going to go well with the fans because I mean,
World Cup winner. I mean,
but no one give it. No one. Wait. Everyone give him.
They're all plastic fans.
World Cup winner, bro. You're talking to a World Cup winner.
He ain't a Champions
World Cup winner.
What's it called? PSG fans. Wait. PSG fans give this guy a break because of his age. That he missed those one-on-ones, easy chances, and now he's talking about other teams. I mean,
it was not Mbappe's fault that they went out. It was not his fault.
It actually
he missed
his
chances.
His fault. No, he wasn't.
Talking like looking for other teams. I mean, that's not going to make you a fan favorite.
And with all due respect, if you can't perform in PSG, how can you perform in Real Madrid when the pressure is 10 times?
He performed in a World Cup. He won the World Cup.
Look, we said this before. Champions League.
Okay.
You can perform in World Cup, but Champions League is a different level.
And it's Croatia, by the way.
Wait, hold on. He performed in the Champions League as well with Monaco.
No,
I mean, what are you talking about?
Are we gonna milk this?
Can I say something?
1 year?
Let
me say something.
And then I'll go to some other bit.
Yeah, so the thing about Mbappe is the current stage of his development that he's in is that he can't win something as a star of the team. He has to have another player that's the star, or responsibility spread out, and he can be a big part of that, but he's still not at the stage where he can take the team himself and win it. So yes, he won the World Cup with when the responsibility was spread out. Everyone contributed. With PSG, he was doing very well when Neymar was playing. When Neymar got injured, he couldn't. It's still he's developing. He's developing,
man.
And if he goes,
if he goes to Madrid, he gets the number 7 shirt. That number 7, that's gonna be huge for us.
Plus Madrid fans, like if you play bad, Madrid fans will abuse you.
Yeah.
And considering he has no skills or talent or technical ability, don't be surprised if he gets whistled in his first day.
Okay, guys, look, man, we're rolling out. We're out. I will see you guys next on the way.
Forza Milan.
Oh, yeah.
I knew you would say that. I knew this guy.
Oh my God!
We'll preview the Champions League final and, of course, the biggest final in the last 20 years. The Chelsea
Dude, half your players are injured.
Thank you, HH.
That's definitely all right, guys.
Thank you, HH.
Forza Milan. Forza Milan.
Thank you.
Forza Milan.
Thank you.